Released in 2021, Everhood is it's a game. With its unique characters and great soundtrack, and every enemy having its own battle, like hello? It was quite the success for the people involved, reaching a 95% positive review score on Steam. Went on to release on consoles, and gave them enough gas to live happy. Then, in big 2025, on the same day too, they released a sequel to Everhood, Everhood 2. Same ideas, same insanity, but with even more to do and new people to meet. What the? It did even better than the first. Huh? A lot of people were not quite satisfied with the approach that Everhood 2 took to the now series. Even with a lot of positive reviews being begrudging. So now I pose a question. Is Everhood 2 good, and what did the first game do better? Hi, the name's Gladiated, but you can call me G, and this is Everhood 1 versus Everhood 2. For this, there's 5 categories I want to judge the games head-to-head with. Story, music, characters, gameplay, and a secret final thing. More on that later. However, replaying through Everhood 1 again, I will give an honorable mention to visuals, because, man, 80% of Everhood 1 is like a couple monocolor tiles on the ground with pitch black everywhere else. 2 did a pretty bang-up job on that front. Now then, story. Spoilers about Everhood 2's story in 3, 2, it sucks. Not really, but compared to 1, it was a huge letdown that a lot of people were looking forward to. While I do think the ending of Everhood 1 is leagues better than 2, treating the story of 1 like the Shakespearean tale would be lying. The story of Everhood 1 is not about being scared of death. Immortality isn't something you should want. Everything should have its time. But instead of leaning into the idea of life is so precious, so live what you can until you can't, it's more of a reincarnation thing, but it never goes further than this, nor any actions you might take to achieve what you reincarnate as, despite taking from Buddhism, notably Moha, being illusion. Like if your story's being outdone by Sonic and the Black Knight, something isn't quite right. Now, that being said, Everhood 2's story is pointless. Oh, word. No, not an opinion. The game is pointless. You have another part of you, and this other part is chaotic evil, and only wishes to see you fight things, using whatever they can, however they can. Why? Because unlike in the first game, immortality cannot be cleansed by the main character. So any obstacle you had encountered previously on the journey was just controlled by your other self, which would be a really good lead up to an epic fight and climax, but he's just like, yeah, let's fight, why not? Then hits a jig and dies. There are parts of it where they try to convey interesting topics like the Mind Dragon, but overall, first point goes to Everhood 1. Music is something I'm not going to dwell too long on. Everhood 1 has 96 tracks? That is so much. And so many of these are battle tracks since every character has one. How long is it on? 3 hours? How long is... 177. 177 tracks. Here's a cool collectible of mine. I have a physical copy of Pokemon Black and White 2's soundtrack. It comes with 4 discs, one of the longest Pokemon games.
What the fuck is Meloetta?
An absolutely massive region, and this $20 jester manages to beat it by 4 tracks! Regardless of what you think about the first OST compared to the second, I think it's easily agreeable that the second game takes it here. Characters are where things get a little muddy. In the first game, you're tasked with killing each and every one. To really make the point hit closer to home, each character has to have something about them to make them tick. Something to give the player a reason to do something they might not want to, which would lead them to Mr. Frog, which would then rock your shit. Oh my god. Since Everhood 2 isn't shackled by the idea of death, characters just kind of do whatever they want. I mean, take this for example. These 3 ghost guys show up, each fight us individually, leave, and are never seen again. This doesn't mean there aren't stronger characters, like your main squad of Irvine and Sam. The issue is, that's kinda all there is. A big example is this lady near the end of the game, Irvin. She wants to stop the player from completing our other part, Shade's cycle. The issue is, she shows up maybe twice in the whole game, says maybe 3 lines, and then leaves. These are also missable encounters, so there are playthroughs where this could be the first time the player encounters her just to have a top 3 song and crumble. Third goes to Everhood 1. Gameplay might also be clear here, but worth going over anyways. Well, what's going on in Evil Corp? Oh, fuck you. Battles in Everhood 1 and Everhood 2 are conceptually the same. Dodge and absorb colored notes to throw back at the enemy, do it enough times, and they die. Everhood 2, however, takes the formula and adds quite a bit to it. You have a couple weapons, and these weapons can do more or less damage depending on what you absorb. as well as having tiers of attacks. Everhood 1, you just had to absorb 2 of the same color. If it hits a vertical note, tough shit, try again. Also, this 10 that appears when you hit an enemy is the same for every other enemy in the game, -2, where you don't do any extra damage, so the number being there is pointless. But in Everhood 2, some notes do more damage against enemies. The thing that sucks about 2, however, is an EXP system. This EXP system is probably the worst way you could implement EXP. The only, and I mean the only thing leveling up does is giving you more health and more damage. No new abilities, no passives, no unlocking new areas, just health and attack. Another thing is repeat encounters. This is something that the first game had none of and we really took it for granted. However, with the new weapon system, at least fights are fast. In fact, fights are really fast. Here's the first actual fight in Everhood 1, and here's the same length of fights in Everhood 2. Then the second actual fight in Everhood 1, and equal amounts in Everhood 2. So really, it's do you want long fights or repeat encounters? Me personally, I'll take the second.
What the fuck?
Another sick mechanic added in Everhood 2 are these survival segments where you fend off from these beings trying to stop you from advancing. And the song just jumps in from where it was playing in the overworld. Besides in the second one, but it's got this banger, so. Yeah? Point for Everhood 2. Though I would like it if they had secret bosses, but like, Now for the final point. Score is tied 2-2. Whoever takes this takes the cake. No, this feels wrong. Why are we comparing them?
Because they're sequels, dipshit.
Quiet. Both of them got years poured into them. Both had so much time and effort, it would be wrong to put down one of them to say the other is better. You know what? I'm not giving you an answer. They're both incredibly unique experiences that can't be replicated anywhere else. And by lining them up like cattle just to pick the better one would discredit the amount of work this small studio put into it. You want a real answer? Whichever one you play first, you'll think the other one is worse. To scare you. I ain't want to be scared. That one still got me. But I'm not gonna sit here and say the sequel's a bag of rocks. Reception around it is so harsh specifically because of its story not trying to be involved and deep. But who cares? Dude. If you have a world as insane and unpredictable as Everhood, why would you want to make a narrative to get people emotionally invested? Just keep your arms and legs in the vehicle at all times and enjoy the ride. Have a good one.